Now to our new series, The Migraine Fix. Migraines affect nearly, are you ready for this, 40 million Americans, and women are impacted at more than twice the rate of men. So what are they? How can you recognize them? And how can you get treatment fast? Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Narula, is here with the answers because you know of what you speak. I know this is something that you have dealt with. Just let people know, this is not like a regular headache.
It is not, and I'm so glad we're saying that, because to call it a headache really minimizes it, and for a lot of people that means they won't actually seek care and treatment for it. We know, as you mentioned, that migraines affect about 12% of Americans, more common in women, tend to run in families, and while, again, they're not the most common type of headache, tension headaches would be much more common, they actually are related to about 90% of headache-related disability is caused by migraines. So they are classified as a neurologic condition, where essentially the brain has issues in nerve signaling and pain sensation, and so we think that it's overly sensitive. It increases nerve signaling and inflammation, and that causes pain and some of the symptoms. So a great metaphor, Robin, is that a regular headache, for example, is like a sore muscle where you just have really the pain. A migraine is much more like a power surge where you really have a whole systemic reaction with a lot of different symptoms. Migraines can last 4 hours to 72 hours.
Really?
Yes, several days, and there can be lots of different triggers for different people. So things like hormone changes, weather changes, so heat and humidity, different kinds of foods, alcohol, dehydration, exercise, changes in your sleep patterns. So lots of things, bright lights, loud noises, certain smells, all of these things that can trigger a migraine. They may be different from one person to another.
And I didn't know there are distinct phases when it comes to migraines?
Yes, again, not just one thing. We think about 4 different phases. So there's what we call the prodrome, or the early stages, which happen 1 to 2 days before the actual headache. And in that stage, you may feel mood changes, constipation, fluid retention, neck stiffness, and food cravings. Then about 25% of people have phase 2, which is an aura. And that really is classified by changes in your vision many times, where you may see shiny lights, bright lights, even zigzag lines. You may also have neurologic symptoms, so things like all of a sudden your face or arm go numb or weak. So it can mimic a stroke in a lot of cases. And then we think about the actual headache, and that again can last for several hours to days, and that is something where it's a throbbing or a pulsating sensation, and it may be associated with nausea, sensitivity to light and sound. And then finally the postdrome, which again carries you through the latter parts, and that's where you feel just fatigued, emotionally, physically exhausted, and almost a brain fog.
Oh my gosh, all those phases are so much to deal with.
Yes.
And you've talked about this. This is something you have dealt with. So what is it something that you could do right away when you feel the onset coming on?
Yeah, so early intervention is really key when it comes to migraine. So first of all, recognizing what your triggers might be, working on preventative strategies, so keeping a regular sleep schedule and not skipping meals, avoiding foods that might be triggers. You know, there are lots of things you can do, and we're going to talk about that later this week, but I can definitely attest, you know, as a sufferer, it can be really debilitating. I just had one when I was on vacation in Miami, and I was so nauseated, I couldn't even eat when I was out with lunch with my family, and then the headache came on. So I've learned to recognize when I feel the nausea and wonder, why am I nauseous? It's because I'm about to get a headache. So everyone has these different signs.
So get to know yourself and where those signs are.
Yes.
And then could go from there. So you're just getting started with this, correct?
I am.
All right.
More to come.
Thank you, Dr. Narula. And she'll be back for day 2 of our series, The Migraine Fix. We'll give you the day off tomorrow. Wednesday. We'll have you on Wednesday. We'll be focusing on treatments, what works and what doesn't.